made it. Welcome to the Zoom room. Dave from Axminster Power Tools, welcome to the Zoom room this morning. Are you ready? Do you want to take centre stage and do your bit for us?
Ladies and gentlemen, I've been told you want to hear about some sharpening today, so we're going to go round quickly to our Axminster Sharpening Station. Many of you have probably been in the shop and have seen this setup, but I'm going to go a quick overview of what we've got here, and then I'm going to do probably a few hand tools on the simplest system, and then jump onto a dry system over there. But I'm going to go an overview first. We all know that you've got to have sharp tools. It gets very frustrating doing any woodwork if your tools are blunt. Quality of tools helps. So if you can buy as best tools as you can for the job, it always helps because they stay sharp longer. They just will help you in the long run. There's nothing worse than having a cheap lumps after 2 minutes of use. But anyway, this sharpening system here, we've got the most basic hand tool system, which includes this riding sharpening station. Basically, it's just a diamond stone and a bit of leather set on a board. Traditionally, you'd use whetstones, and I've got one there just in as example. But I tend to use this at home for all my hand tools. Turning tools, different matter, we'll come to that. You can obviously do it by hand, as traditionally done, finding your angle. But most commonly, somebody will have one of these in their shed to find your angles. This gives you a more repeatable sharpening process. And that's the most simple, just a clamp with a screw and a wheel, really. You can get more complicated systems. This is the Veritas. Makes it a bit more repeatable and accurate. And we'll just have a quick overview on those in a minute. And then, like all systems, you really want to be going through the grits, if you like, even if it's a 2-grit system, like when a coarse grit and then a finer grit for finishing off. With this, you can do as much as you want. If you just go look over here, there is a lot of stones, a plethora of grits that people want to know about. But we've narrowed it down to a 400 diamond stone there for your primary bevels, and then on the back of that there's 1,000 grit. After that you can go sexier, either with a whetstone, you can go up to 10,000 grit on that. But what I use is this little system here, which is just sandpapered. They come on a roll. 800 grit, 1,200 grit, 2,500. What I do, this chisel's pretty good, but I'm going to go through the little process now. On this board, we've got some marks: chisels, planes. The chisels, you've got a couple of indentations here. Sorry, I wasn't talking. They are just what we've made. The dimensions of those protrusions are written on the side of the sharpener. So you can do it on your own bench. You can make blocks on your bench to do that. We happen to just have made this system so it's easy to do from there. And there's a 30 degree and a 25 degree. This chisel is pretty good, so I don't want to do a 25 degree primary bevel. I'm just going to go straight to the 30. I would normally on the primary bevel do 400, but because we're going straight to the secondary bevel, I'm doing 1000. Got a bit of lapping fluid, stops the diamond, the plate going rusty. There we go. Oh yeah, great. You can use a bit of water. Quite a skinny roller, so fingers keeping it as parallel as possible, and you can see on the, that's all I'd need to do with this because it's pretty sharp anyway. Hone it off. And we're not going to spend all day doing that because you know there's going to be a lot of questions on that in the end. But I just wanted to show you the rough system. The next system next to it is jumping to the total extreme. The other end of the spectrum, if you like, is the Tormek whetstone system. Now this involves a whetstone sitting in a tub of water. It spins slowly, so it's nice and cool, it's gentle on your tools, and then all your tools are sharpened using jigs that slide on this bar. Various jigs for various, holding various tools. That's the Gouge Jig, you probably recognise it. And that's probably what Colwyn uses mostly. If you watch Axminster Tools videos, he'll use this system. It's very repeatable, it's very kind to your tools, you're not going to burn them. But it's a wee bit expensive. There are alternatives. We've got, if you look over here, we've got this, oh, is that one as well? Got a whetstone system here, similar principles. A stone sitting in water, a bar to hold the jigs, and you can sharpen on there. And that's more affordable than the Tormek. Obviously, not such a quality bit of gear, but it does the job. There's also this little fella down here, which is looks very similar to the Tormek. It's got the same wheel, a leather strap on the other side, trough of water, a bar at the back. Again, it's our craft range, so you're just not going to get the quality that you got with the Tormek, with it's all sealed and a lifelong guarantee motor, etc., etc. but they both do the job. Right. On this side, we've got some dry sharpening systems. This classic bench grinder. This is all my dad had, with 2 grey wheels on it, and he used to get edges on everything. How, I don't know, but he did. This has got a coarse wheel and a finer wheel. You can do all your sharpening by eye and by hand using a plate like this. Which usually comes on the grinder. It'll be attached to there. But jigs help you to make things more repeatable and stop wasting metal. So on this system here, if you notice underneath the bench grinder, you've got some black looking metal, and all that, including that and that, go together to be able to sharpen most tools. Okay, this is a good wood for wood turning. The danger of this, it's dry, it's fast. This is actually, it's a slow grind. It's called slow, but it's still a lot faster than Tormek. And you have to be careful of overheating your tools. You have to have a pot of water next to you. Keep them cool. The other dry system that we use, and I've been having a play on this, as mainly for like the restoration of old tools. I like it. It's this ultimate edge. It's basically a linisher. It's a sanding belt. Very simple. It's been around since they started any sort of sharpening system. Robert Sorby do one, we do one. There's various on the market, but they were come out in the 1920s, so everybody's been doing them for years. And they've just been honing them, making them better. And this one, what they've done is put it so you can make it forward and reverse, which is very useful. It's made it very easy to change belts. That's very fine. Very coarse belt. Oh. So you can really remove some material with that, and then go right up through the grits from about 40 up to about 800, and then put a leather strop on it as well. So you can go right through the grits with this machine. It's fantastic. It's also got on the spigot a removable wheels. You can have a rough wheel, you can have a leather wheel. This is just a pasted up B grade pad, really nice for honing up carving chisels. Beautiful for that, and that just pops on and off on the side, which is a real good addition to any machine. These were very, very old and rusty, and I got them all cleaned up using the wire brush and various pads with paste on, and they've just come up beautiful. Sharpening wise, it uses the same bar as the Tormeks and also the Axminster whetstone system. It's the same diameter bar, so you can put on the Tormek jigs like the bowl gouge jig, slips on there, and all the jigs, all the Tormek jigs fit on this. But it does come with its own jigs for the chisels and planer blades. Simple little jig, slides on there. And then your jig will be fitting in there. Way to go. Obviously, the technicalities of it are go into depth with it another day. It's a really easy mechanism to use. It's very easy to set angles. It comes with a little setter. If I want 30 degrees, I set it at 30, lock it off. There's a longer chisel. You can grab a longer chisel. Sorry, guys. It gives you a little setter on there to set the depth, the amount it sticks out of the jig. Lock it off at that. Now, again, this is like I did before. It's I only want to do a bit of honing, so that's far too coarse. Take it off. I've got a 1500 belt there, so it's finer than I was using on the that slides on there, and that will give me 30 degrees. The belt goes away from you. Happy with that. And I'd hone out on a bit of leather then, by hand. You could put the leather pad on there, but I'll just do it on the on a little bit of leather on the bench. So that's all the systems we've got here. What are we doing? Mainly wood turning in the sheds, or what are we doing in the sheds mainly? Because depending on what you're after, it depends on the system. Me, for my wood turning, I use this system. Oh, while you're there, there's a Tormek jig that fits on the side, so you could mount that bar that I was talking about onto a bench grinder, and then you can use the Tormek jigs on this bar on your grinder. But I'm taking that off for now. I'm going to talk a little bit about this one because this is the one I use all the time. As I said, it's just a bench grinder, but with a finer wheel on one side. This jig that we sell You have to make it up yourself. What it gives you is the distance between the center and the bottom plate, and then you'll do some packing out to make sure your particular rounder grinder, whichever make you've got, to give enough space to give you that dimension, and then you mount these in line with the wheels, and away to go. The basic one, which is that, is great for your roughing gouges. Roughing gouge. You can see how quick this is going to be because I'm going to do this one. I cover it with a bit of marker pen. Get it rough by eye. Right. It makes quite a grinding noise there. As I drag it back, it gets quieter until it's almost silent. And then I know it's going right across. That's it, it's quiet now. It's going right through, so I'm not wasting any metal because I know it's going. Lock it off at that. Better plug it in. The beauty of this is, if I was doing this by hand, like my dad would have done this on a plate. He'd have done it himself like this. There is movement there. You can set your angle, but you can't stop yourself doing this. This allows you to sit it there. You can set your angle, so it's taking two things out of the equation you don't need to worry about. The only thing you need to worry about now is the shape of the tool. No jig will create your profile. You have to look at that and think, oh, I need to do it a bit there, I need to do it there. That's whatever jig you ever get is going to be the same. It'll only take away 2 or 3 of the parameters. This one takes up the angle and the fact that you're not going to move around. So you've still got to be practiced at it. I'm not putting any weight on this. I'm not pushing, because that's just going to kill my tool. I'm just letting, just guiding it. If it is getting warm, dip it in a bit of water. I'll do that till all the blue's gone. Done. Don't waste any metal. That's all of my marker pen has disappeared, so I know I've got fresh metal right to the edge now. Any burr on the inside will come off as soon as I start turning. So you don't need to get rid of that. That's done. So that was that. For skew chisels, they give you this really simple bit of kit for your skew. Again, I always put my hand on the side here to stop me, to give me a bit of support. Again, wait for it to stop a minute. I'll get it by eye. That's touching on the back edge, so I need to come out a bit. That's going more across, a little bit, touch more. Touch more. That's going right through now. Just double check the other side. Yeah, it's covered, it's getting rid of the blue. I'll give it a little tweak more. That's it. Lock him off. Again, I'm not putting any weight on it. And when the blue's gone, I know I've got an edge. Skew chisel done. Sorted. Now for the fun one. With the skew, you can do it on a plate. Traditionally, just set your angle, do it on a plate. Again, you've got that propensity for movement there, which is better when there you can't do that. Also for your parting tools, you can do it like that, but sitting in there is better. The one tool you struggle with by hand is the bowl gouge and the spindle gouges, because the action you've got to do is that. So you've got to turn your tool, so you're all free in the air, trying to turn your tool like that. Even on a plate, you've got a lot of movement. What you need is a jig for these. And with this, you get a jig like that. They're the same as the Tormek one, wherever it was. In principle, they both send your tool about 5 or 6 inches away from a pivot point and then give you an angle. So when you put your tool in there, it sticks out 50 mil, I think, is on the leaflet. I've got a little mark on my bench, just so I know how far the protrusion is. So on the Tormek, you've got little numbers and notches, so you can repeat exactly what you did on the previous chisel. You've also got a little protrusion guide, so you can go straight back to whatever tool you had and repeat the process, and so you don't have to waste metal. On our little system, there isn't any specific marks, but you can mark them off yourself, which I've done here. I've made little marks on mine. The closer your tool comes into there, the further you'll get a sweep back. The more close to 90 degrees, you'll get more of an Irish grind. It'll be it's almost back to like a roughing gouge, a really short sweep, but sweep, non-sweep. So about halfway, 45 degrees, I've made a mark, and I've made a couple of marks on mine where I like to have my chisel swept back to. But once you've got that mark, you can just repeat it. Again, I'd mark it up with a bit of blue just to make sure I'm not doing anything really stupid. Take this off. Again, I find it by eye, then I spin the wheel until I get the perfect angle. Things about there. Back it off. Now you can see when I sweep over, it's doing the work for me. Simple as that. So I can cart it up. Clean metal, done. I'm not worried about a bit of blue at the back. As long as that clean metal is on my cutting edge, I'm happy. Sharp, straight away, very quick. Bowl gouge, done. So the Tormek in principle is the same as that, except it's slower. You get a finer edge, but and you're not in any danger of burning your tools out. This does the same thing again. You can get bowl gouges on there, straight edges on there. Again, a great system. I prefer that one for something like renovation work, because you can do all your carving chisels and things on the side. It's a great all-round system. Say the ultimate guide, the ultimate edge it's called, and it's, to me, that is probably the most flexible and all-encompassing sharpening system, is that, with some of these on the back. But personally, I do the hand tools on there, and these bowl gouges and wood turning chisels on here. I've got a Croissant bench grinder. We used to sell them here, but we don't now. But the trade one is fantastic. That's it, really. I think we'll throw it open to any questions, anything you want me to go over or go into more detail with, because we haven't done much detail. I'm just showing you an overview of what we've got here. What do you reckon, guys?
Yeah, thanks, Dave. That's really great, actually. Really very, very interesting, very thorough. I think you might have sold one of those, one or two of those linishes. But let's see what the guys in the room have to say. You got any comments, any questions? You feel free to just unmute yourselves and jump in. There's not many of us, so...
Spinning around now.
Who wants to grab Dave while you've got a chance here? You're all going to look at me now. Come on, I've got a list.
I can sing you a song.
I'm assuming saw blades you can't sharpen.
No. Saw blades? No.
Yeah.
No. We send them away. So Allied, yeah.
Now, we used to have a nice little jig. You could sharpen them with a little triangular file. So I remember doing that in a saw and counting a little rhyme: 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't do those on site there, do you?
No, we've got the files,
Yeah.
but we haven't got the jigs now, have we? Saw jigs.
Just trying to think if we had a Tormek one, but
There's we've got drill jigs, but no, we haven't got we haven't got any here. Whether we used to, I think we probably did them in the past. You know, a setting tool as well, but we haven't.
Yeah.
We're not doing it, haven't we?
I was interested to see, Dave, that you're using the high-speed grinder for your carving gouges, but do you not hone them any further than that? And why is it that you're happy to use the high speed for the carving gouges, but you prefer to use the slower speed for the flat chisels?
Speed. You don't need to get any finer really. The grit on there, I think it's 250 or something.
around
220
that, yeah.
down, which isn't much different. I know you can get the Tormek up to about 1,000 with the stone on it, but I've just found it fine. I don't need to get any more. I know what you're saying. If the more honed it is, the longer it'll last. An edge will. But my personal preference for speed was that. That's yeah. But if you've got any system that you can hone it more, and the more time you want to spend getting that, if you microscopically the ridges, if you can get them smoother, your edge is going to last a lot longer, isn't it? Because basically, if you microscopically it'll look like that, whatever you do, won't it?
Yeah.
So, and those tips break off, and your thing blunts. If they're right, if you can get it right down to the bare metal molecules, it's going to be tougher. But for me, jumping on there, whip, whip, whip. I'll be turning for a good hour or so before I have to go back on it. You know, depending on the wood, obviously. If I'm on a nasty bit of oak, then no, I might have to go back a bit more often. But if it's for most of my stuff that I turn, beeches and ashes and stuff, it'll last me a good hour or so before I have to touch it up.
Sure. So you're balancing all the time how long you spend sharpening the tool versus how long it's going to last on the job. Yeah. I've not done long.
And also, I'm balancing my money. I haven't got a Tormek at home. I haven't got that. I haven't spent. You know, I've spent it on a guitar.
Yeah.
So the honest answer is, if I had enough money, I would probably dive in and get a Tormek.
Yeah.
That craft one down there is a good sort of middle gap, because you can use all the Tormek jigs on that one as well.
Yeah.
So I've just got a good turning Tormek jigs with the Axminster craft one, and that does a good enough edge for me.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
I don't have space for a grinder.
Compromise. The Axminster version of the Tormek with the Tormek jigs.
Yeah,
that's a good compromise. Yeah.
Anybody else? You know, I can talk all afternoon now to Dave, but it's no problem. But if anyone's Alan, got any questions?
No, it's I've met Dave before. In fact, I've mentioned the den. It spent a lot of money in his shop and various things.
Excellent, good news. Good news.
Keeps me in beer.
Yeah, could I ask a sort of a bit off the piece question? On my old bench grinder, I've got what's known as a green grit stone. Now, what sort of grit would that be, and what would it be used for?
The green grit, I think. Silicon, if you can see it now, silicon carbide. It's green silicon, and for tungsten tooling.
All right, okay. Yeah. So you can't use it for anything else.
It's best for tungsten. I expect because tungsten's harder. Perhaps it doesn't go. The green grit ones don't wear way so much. It's about 120 grit.
All right, okay.
It's pretty fine, but it probably lasts. It probably tackles tungsten basically because it's a silicon carbide based stone as opposed to like an aluminium oxide stone, a bit like sandpapers. You get the aluminium oxide, silicon carbide. So yeah, horses for courses. That's for tungsten tools. But you'll be able to sharpen other metals on it, obviously.
Oh, I was just going to ask that if I could use that as just a general fine grit for other stuff as well as for drills.
Yeah, yeah. Because it'll handle tungsten.
Right.
It'll handle all your tool steels and your metals and your mild steel. It should do anyway.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Well, I got another one then. I'll jump in. I mean, you'll have to get in quick because I've got questions here. If anyone wants to say anything, then please do, because I don't want to hog the show. But I'm interested, Dave. You're using your hand honing. You're using your diamond stones, oil stones. When we were in school, we were all taught to sharpen with an oil stone. Are they pretty much out of favour now, and everyone's gone to diamond or water stones for that hand?
Yeah. I've still got an oil stone in the toolbox, but he doesn't come out very often.
Yeah.
Because I've gone to this. It's the water stones is very more fashionable, really. I think it's your oil stones were on the bench, weren't they? They were handy. They didn't have to get a tub of water and soak them in, and they got, but they did get. They were messy. You can't flatten your oil stone very often without taking all the oil and surface off it when you ever flatten it. And then, whereas a wet stone, you can flatten it and it's back in water again. It's just not as greasy and wet.
Yeah, as long as you don't dig into them, and you've got to take quite a lot of material. And I have done that.
Disastrous. Yeah. That's why the diamond stone's so popular, isn't it? You know,
yeah,
because you're not going to be doing that.
Yeah,
you keep it clean because it does clog up.
Yeah, and I also noticed your what do you call it, honing fluid? That's just water. What have you got something in there, or what is in the honing fluid?
You can use an additive that stops the corrosion, because it's not the diamond stone plate that rusts; it's the bits of metal that are worn off your tools onto the diamond stone, and they go rust and clog up.
Yeah.
So you can have an additive that reduces the rust. It doesn't stop it. But I say, personally, I just use water, and then I make sure I dry it.
Dry everything. Yeah.
So it's dry, cleaned and dried off, and that will reduce the rust clogging up your diamonds. The bottle I was trying to squirt was a lapping fluid, which is for that use. So you can use that if you're not very good at drying things.
Yeah.
Could I just ask, say you got that face mask, is that because of COVID, or is it advisable to wear a mask when you're using those tools?
Definitely wear eye protection on these wheels. Yeah. If you notice, they had got little guards on them.
Oh, right, yeah.
But like most people, they get in the way. So most people would tend to just lift that up. And then if you haven't got the
Yeah.
what you're doing. So no, that's nasty. If you get a bit of stone or a bit of metal in your eye from these, tend to wear goggles, specs.
Yeah.
But with a mask, they steam up. So I just find these handy. It doesn't steam up.
Yeah. It's very good.
Protect you. And especially when you wood turning, a pair of these, a bit of wood smacks you in the cheek or the teeth. With this, it gets deflected.
Yeah.
It's far-faced, because I've had on the wood turning, I've had pieces of wood fly off at me, either split or crack or whatever, and they have hit the visor. So I'm very grateful for wearing a visor when I'm wood turning, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, great.
Yeah, like a bike helmet, you've only got to need it once to be grateful forever that you've got them there. And
Yeah, yeah.
absolutely.
Before it was in the first few months working here. There's a club, a wood turning club in Bombleston,
Mhm.
and the guy from the club came in, and he'd broken his cheekbone was broken, and he had a detached retina.
Yeah.
He hadn't put him off. He'd come in to buy some of these.
Yeah, one spitting.
He was just like, I said, oh my God, that would put me off wood turning. He said, nah, it's all right, I'll just go and buy some prizes. So he bought some for the club then.
Yeah.
So I thought, hang on, because I'd never done it before. I never thought about it. So after just thinking about that makes me wear my visor. So
Yeah, absolutely. We can all feel like we're a bit indestructible until you get close to it. That's great. Well, listen, I know this isn't a selling exercise, but I didn't quite catch the price tag that was on that linishing machine, and I'm curious. Can you flip the camera past that a bit?
I don't know if this price is up to date. 479.98.
Okay. Yeah, so it's a bit more than the craft thing, but
There are other versions. That's for the Ultimate Edge for variable speed, forward and backward. We do ones which are single speed as well. We haven't got any on display at the moment, but they will be on the website if you want to have a look at those. Oh, you know what? If you know that, I've got a catalogue right here.
stands on it.
nice. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I can see a lot of advantages to that, especially. I don't know if anyone here is, but some of our guys do get involved in sort of fettling up old tools and things. We get a lot of donations in.
It's got these. It's got all these wheels that you just keep turning. You can
Here we go.
attach them to it, and away to go. How much is it? 300 quid. 300 quid is the most basic model, but it's not variable speed, and it only turns one way. So if you're going to buy, it'll do the job, but it's nice having the variable speed so you can slow it right down, and I like it the fact that it goes either way as well. So,
Yeah.
especially for the wheel, because you'd be using it, the mop going away from you, and then you can flip it the other way, and then you can polish underneath as well. So
Yeah, it's all nice, and certainly if you've got limited space, that's a nice, all-in-one sort of bit of workstation, isn't it?
Yeah. There's there was one little limitation I found on it. You have to do a skew chisel on the left. You have to put it flat, which is fine because I don't do the skew chisels on there anyway. But it's just you have to move it to a bit of flat position, which is just a little thing, a bit of a niggle. But I think they're all like that, all the different ones. So.
Yeah.
And there's an extractor port on it as well. You do get a lot of nasty.
Yeah.
One on the top now as well.
Because it's running at quite high speed, that is it?
Pardon?
It's running at quite high speed, that linisher, so it does put out a bit of dust, yeah?
It does, yeah. I don't know what speed the range of speed is, to be honest. It doesn't say on it.
You've got a gravimeter, I'll just spin them up.
Oh, hang on. Goes from 200, which is nice and slow. Up to 600.
Okay.
That's 200 to 600 revs. Nice.
Very nice. Listen, we're coming up to the 12 o'clock. Burning questions they want to pop out now before we go? Any more? No, it's a hesitation, so I'll move on. Dave, I'd like to say thank you very, very much for your time this morning. It's been really great. Yeah, I can see a couple of hands getting clapped there. A couple of people had to leave early. They've sent a message saying thank you very much. We've enjoyed it. No, it's been great. Really very informative, very useful. Thank you very much. I hope we all agree. That was good fun. And we might come back. You've got a little series of these little shows that you do. I'll talk to Lee and see if we can get you booked again for a few more. I hope you yourself.
Thanks ever so much for having us, and see you on the other side, innit?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, we all know where you are anyway, so we'll drop in and see you.
Okay,
Thank
mate.
you, Dave.
Thanks very much.
Camera. Thank you, everyone here. Lovely to see you all again. I'm going to close the Zoom room now.